It's Kansas that is apparently coming after Pfizer. So we'll take a look at that. And then we may have one other video and then we'll move on from this topic. But let me switch it right here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, take a look at this.
Thank you for being here today. We brought together this press conference to make the following announcement, and that is today Kansas is filing a civil suit against the Pfizer Corporation under the Kansas Consumer Protection Act, seeking enhanced civil monetary penalties, damages, and injunctive relief for misleading and deceptive statements made in marketing its COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer also violated previous consent judgments with.
Do we need to hear that again? I think we need to hear that again real quick. Let's
civil suit against the Pfizer Corporation under the Kansas Consumer Protection Act, seeking enhanced civil monetary penalties, damages, and injunctive relief for misleading and deceptive statements made in marketing its COVID-19.
Misleading and deceptive statements. Misleading and deceptive statements. We're talking about people's health. What did I just say? Whenever you're a company that you're trying to sell a product to, you're figuring out what problem your product is going to solve. Then you have to amp up that problem as much as possible so people feel that they need a solution to something. And they chose to fearmonger people. They chose to get people as scared as they can in order to justify taking something that we knew was not proven, that we knew did not go through proper testing. We knew all these things, but because we were so fearful, because they told us all the things that would happen if everybody did not get this jab, then we went for it. We fell for it. Because they told us that, oh, you can't go to work, you can't travel you can't go into this restaurant, you can't go into this concert. So, okay, all right, I'll just take it. We chose convenience over doing our own research. We chose convenience over being thorough and investigating something that could potentially harm our body. We chose to do this. So I'm not saying, to be totally honest, I'm not angry with Pfizer. Like Pfizer is doing, we know who Pfizer is. It's like we already know who they are. It's just more upsetting that we live in a country where, for one, we have the president and the vice president telling the Meta platform with Mark Zuckerberg to censor certain information. But then even knowing that, we knew information was being censored. All you had to do is have a conversation with most people in public, and you'd see how people's thoughts on it. It came out, and you had to see that. Even going from when Trump was in office, think about it like this. I'm going to go a different direction. When Trump was in office, remember, he was the first one that was calling for the vaccine. That's when all the Democrats and liberals were saying, this hasn't been tested. We can't take a vaccine. This is not safe. I'm not taking it. Then as soon as Joe Biden won and got in office, I think the next day the vaccine was released. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be off on the days. I think it's the next day the vaccine was released, and then the Democrats just got on board with it. Shame on both. Shame on choosing something with your health based on what your party decides. Imagine betting on, well, if the Steelers win, then I'm going to get the vaccine. But if the Browns win, then I'm not going to get. That's what people do. That's what people are doing when you make a decision just based on what your party is leaning towards.
Vaccine. Pfizer also violated previous consent judgments with the state of Kansas, in which Pfizer promised never to use deceptive information.
And let me catch up with the chats before I get hold on. Before I lose y'all too much. So Uncle Brother said, I worked in news media during COVID. I got shut down for trying to get the word out about boosting immunity, upping your vitamin D, zinc, and exercise as an alternative to experimental gene therapy. Can you, oh my God. Are y'all paying attention to this? Are y'all paying attention to this? He worked in the news media. He's telling y'all that this is censorship about your health. Like how we just ignore this, and there's a lot of people that even hearing this conversation will be like, oh well, the news is not gonna, they didn't intentionally do that. The news will say and do anything to boost their ratings. Anything that the people above are telling them to push, that's what they're going to push. And it's relevant in this situation, with the recent election, with the after the election. All of these things are coming out. Jay Carr wrote, every treatment that existed was demonized. Then they came out with Paxlovid that cost $1,600 for 5 pills. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Playing with people's lives. Urs wrote, I don't know if you know this, but 99% of all businesses in America are considered small business. Wow. This was an attempt to crush small businesses so big business can take over. Interesting, bro. Interesting. Malay wrote, I read that Bill Gates is being sued by the Netherlands. I did hear that. Did you send me that? Somebody sent me that the Netherlands is suing them for the same thing. The Netherlands is suing Bill Gates for the very same thing that Joe Rogan was discussing, and for, I believe, the same reasons that Kansas is suing Phizer. Jay Carr wrote, drug companies should not be allowed to market their drugs. Why are they? Yeah, why do we live in a country where you're able to market drugs on TV? Think about that. These drugs on TV, it's the same opioid. We got the opioid crisis, all these different crises. Like you can't market weed on but you can market heroin in the form of these opioids on TV. This is the world that we're living in. Shout out to RFK Jr. I'm just glad that somebody's sensible is now going to have a very strong influence on our healthcare system and what's presented to us. What did they do to the small businesses? What they did to the small businesses was unbelievable. But nobody cares because people only now if something came out and said Amazon had to lay off thousands of employees, people would think about that, right? That would be reported on mainstream news outlets. However, the mom and pop stores, the small businesses that actually run the country, the people that are risking it all just to make sure that they can provide services to us. And when I say risking it all, that's what a business is. You know, you don't necessarily have the comfort of the 9 to 5 to make sure that you're going to get your check and it's going to be the same thing. No, there's a reason why a lot of people don't become entrepreneurs. And there's a reason why a lot of people try and fail. It's a tough thing. All right, hold on. Let's so Jay Carr wrote, it wasn't that long ago, and just mentioning hydroxychloroquine, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. This is the big thing with I remember there was an issue with this with, who was it? I think it was Chris Cuomo had a back and forth about this, and I believe he's taken that. So my apologies if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Would get your video taken down. Yeah, it's and now that's something that they're using. Urs wrote, it can't be subconsciously healthy to hear about cancer treatments all day on TV. It can't be. They're trying. Everything is trying to draw out an emotion that we see in a commercial. So whether it's all you got to do is watch some of these fast food commercials. And I'm over here like mouth watering when I see a McDonald's commercial. I'm like, damn, they're making that Big Mac look good. And I don't even eat it. But that's what they do because they try to play on your emotions. So from this standpoint, what's the best way to play on their emotions? Oh, let's just use fear. That's the best thing with health. All you got to do, matter of fact, you tell somebody could be living unhealthy for a very long time, knowing that they're living unhealthy, knowing that it's going to create health problems. But when they go into that office and they say, oh, yeah, you actually have this disease. Then you see people who are, all right, I got to work out. I got to do certain stuff. So let's be proactive. Let's get ahead of it. All right, let's get ahead of it. We understand that they're going to use fear mongering. Let's get ahead of it so we're not as vulnerable to that type of marketing. All right, let's keep going.
Information to market their products. Kansas's case is the first of a multi-state collaboration, with Kansas being the first of 5 states to file suit. Before I go further, let me put this in context. As we all know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a great deal of panic and anxiety. Many people who were elderly or who suffered from various medical conditions had already died when the vaccines became available. And when that time came, when the vaccines became available, every one of us had to make two decisions. Am I going to take the vaccine? And if so, which vaccine will I choose to take? And these decisions were being made in a hurry. In some ways, you could say even being made under duress. In such an environment, it is imperative that Kansans making that decision receive the truth. They needed the truth. All Americans needed the truth. And in multiple respects, Pfizer did not provide the truth. Much of the information in this lawsuit came out as a result of a FOIA lawsuit seeking information from Pfizer that still had not been made public. And it was only a result of that effort that some of the information in this lawsuit is available. I urge everyone to read the 69-page complaint that goes into great detail about the specifics.
My boy look a little bit nervous up there. He know what he's doing. He knows what you're doing may come with some responses that aren't too nice. You got to think about who's behind these pharmaceutical companies. These are the most powerful people in the world. You don't think Bill Gates is one of the most powerful, influential people or pawns used by some of the most powerful and influential people? You don't think that he's one of them? We don't make that connection with why he was being marched out to market this thing to us. So when you have people that now stand up against these big pharmaceutical companies, it is a very dangerous thing.
Statements that were made and the misleading nature of those statements made to Kansas consumers. The following is a quick summary of, I think, some of the foremost.
All right, one more video. Actually, we're gonna move on from that. I think we I had one more video where Dr. Drew was just calling out this. Matter of fact, watch this real quick. Watch this real quick, because this is an example of what they try to do with RFK Jr. Very quickly. This is a very quick video, so just watch this. We're only gonna watch a minute of it. Like, watch this. I want to stick to the script. Just check this out real quick, because this is an example of what they do.
Now in the data that it was suburban moms who actually found what Robert F. Kennedy was saying so interesting. We said at the beginning of the program that, look, you can see a guy who is a vaccine conspiracy theorist, vaccine questioner, whatever you want to say, who kills bears, or you can see a guy who's a champion for health. I see you putting your hands up. I'm going to let you answer. How and what is incumbent upon Robert F. Kennedy to not allow that narrative to take hold?
Well, it is incumbent upon everybody to continue to pressure the press. I wonder if he doesn't sue the press for slander, because he's fully vaxxed, his family's fully vaxxed. He has no vaccine denialism. He wants vaccines subjected to the same scientific rigor as all the other medication that people like me are allowed by the FDA to bring to market. So we could use these things. As it is an entirely different operation with no liability to speak of. And there may be really significant
Look at dude's face. Look at the face of this dude on the left.
It is an entirely different oration with no liability to speak of. And there may be really significant problems with these vaccines. At least we should be able to ask the questions. I'm not a vax denier. Everybody's fully vaxxed in my practice. But when I give my patients informed consent, I have to include in that these things have not been tested the way I would be satisfied to really give them a clear.
You see how they play games trying to present. This is what they try to do. And he was actually not even as worse as a lot of the other people. Like if just look at it when RFK Jr. is brought up on The View, and you'll see how a lot of these people look at it. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to no, not that video. Oh, actually, all right. So I gotta. All right, so I got an idea, and I want to walk y'all down this path with me. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.